Well, I am standing outside of the Capitol building in Missouri, where I helped give testimony to the new fathership bill that has gone through the House, just entered the Senate, and I am very happy to say that this fathership bill that is addressing so many concerns I've had with family court reform, most importantly and notably, is ending driver's license suspension when there is delinquent child support. How are you going to even pay the child support if you don't have a driver's license, right? And I'm very happy to announce that it has passed in the Senate. So now all we have to do is wait for it to go through the floor, and we are going to have a whole new template and foundation for family court reform that is going to hit so many more states in this and the coming years. So let's just keep our foot on the gas.
Is not on child support. I took him off of child support because I felt bad and because I thought we can come to an agreement, right? He has been wanting to claim my son since he was born. My son is 7 years old now. And I wouldn't mind letting him claim the child, because usually when it's 50-50, as far as the kid lives with you 50% of the time and 50% with the other parent, they can take turns claiming the kid because they're both providing for the child evenly. That has not been the case. I've always been the custodial parent. I've always been the one that provided the most. Like, I'm not trying to bash him, but that's just how things have been. And I'm a very understanding person. I'm very, I feel bad. And I don't know why. He, asked me again a couple days ago, hey, did you already claim him on the tax return? I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? He's like, because that's going to change. What's going to change? And he's like, I need it on paper that I'm going to be claiming him. And I was like, but you don't even have him 50% of the time. I was like, you buy him shoes here and there. You help me with his dental work maybe once or twice. But what do you mean you're going to claim him? No, that's not how it works. If you were providing the way I provide for him, or we were splitting literally everything in half, then I would consider it. But that is literally not the case. And I'm not trying to be mean, but that's just what it is. Don't ask me to claim my son when you're not providing or have him 50% of the time. You have him Fridays after school, I pick him up Sundays. That is not 50% of the time.
She said something interesting to me. If you're not providing for him the way that I'm providing for him, then that's not the way it's going to work. And I just wonder, I feel like that's a slippery slope, because what do you mean how you provide for him? That's what I want to know. What are you giving him that the father's not able to give? You know what I mean?
Child support. Did you guys see what Trump just tweeted? Apparently, from now on, any fathers that are currently on child support will get to claim their kid or children for tax season. It's no longer just the mom. And I'm actually very happy about that, because I don't think that's fair. You have either the mom or the dad on child support. They're giving you money all year long. So how is it fair that the other parent gets to claim the kid? Or when it's 50-50 and you guys both provide for your kid, how is it fair that one parent gets to take all of that income tax? I've never thought that that's right. And I'm happy that he's going to do that from now on. And in my opinion, if the children are 50-50 with the parents, I think the income tax should be split if you guys are both providing all year long for your child for whatever they need. But as far as all the dads that are going to be able to claim their kids from now on, if they're paying all year, I think that's such a good idea, and I'm here for it.
Seemed like you wasn't happy about it a minute ago when your baby daddy asked you to do that. Now you change it too.
Personally never understood the oh no, but we can't date, I don't want to ruin the friendship. Is that not the most ideal situation? Is that you're friends first? The friendship's going to be ruined if you like each other and you don't do anything about it.
Mr. Johnson, or Mr. Chandler, what's your input on this one? I
mean, 1460 just sounds a little extensive to me.
Well, what is your actual income? What are you earning?
I'm not employed right now.
Okay, when were you last employed?
In May.
And what did you do?
I was a truck driver. But
what were you earning?
I was getting 50 cents a mile.
And how many miles did you normally travel?
Every week my expectations was around 3,000 miles a week, but I never reached that.
So how much did you normally travel? And
maybe 1,800.
Okay, at 50 cents a mile, you would have gotten as a contractor?
No, W-2.
So you were a W-2 employee. So they took taxes out of the,
Yes.
so you were earning about $78,000 a year, technically.
No, I only worked. I barely just got my CDL a few months
And
ago.
why did you lose this job?
Because FOC continues to suspend my license. My license is my job. So if they continue to suspend my license, then when companies find out, I have to have an active license for 6 months before they
Great.
consider anybody
Hiring
to
you.
give me another job.
So we're basically tying his hands, Mr. Hahn?
Your Honor, during the pre-hearing conference, I did ask about his income. He did inform me of the 50 cents a mile at 3,000 miles a week,
Right.
which is what I use. However, when I asked him why he no longer worked there, he informed me that, and I'm going to read my notes, he left for a better opportunity. So he did not indicate that he had any concerns regarding front of the court suspending his license. He said he left for a better opportunity.
Yes, that is true, but that's just my professional answer.
All right. I'm going to hold him at $1,000 a week instead of the $1,500. I'm hearing testimony that he didn't, but we need to get his license reinstated. And that'll be on this case.
Your Honor, would you like that as W-2 or 1099?
W-2.
And-
Because he's that was his potential, not his actual. Let's get him on what his actual was, and I'll hold him to what a job was that he walked away from.
Another job will not consider me.
Yeah, I understand.
For 6 months.
When did they say? Okay, when did they state? I'll deal with that in a minute. When did they take away your CDL?
Well, the state of Texas have not taken away my CDL, but other jobs, when I apply for more jobs, they do a federal background on my driving record, and when they do that, they see that my license has been suspended in Michigan because they run everywhere that I had a license.
So your CDL is through the state. The CDL is through the state of Texas.
Yes, but when it comes to applying for other jobs, I'm applying for jobs that the terminals reside.
Is it currently suspended in Michigan?
Yes,
And that's due to child support?
I believe so.
If they're suspending his license, that's his way to make money. How do y'all expect him to pay the child support? I mean, if that's the case, he's going to have to get a quick job at McDonald's or something like that in the meantime. And even then, you're not going to get as much help as you need and want. It's a silly way of doing things.
I never found out why, but every time they send me my driving record, it says that Michigan suspends my license. And I know FOC always suspends my license every month or two.
Great. That helps not. All right. I'm going to combine this decision then. Ms. Johnson, a motion was filed concerning the actual father of your child.
Mm-hmm.
There's indication that you knew in 2012 that Mr. Chandler was not the father of this child?
Yes, and me and his actual father, his biological father, went to court. I don't know what month it is. I don't know if you guys can look that up, but they told me that Thomas needed to file in writing to petition paternity by July of that year. Because I don't know, it was weird. Every time I went to court, I got different answers. It's been horrible trying to get this situated.
All right. Do you guys have any current DNA tests that show?
So we got one, and it was a Walgreens test, and they couldn't use that.
So that's not the right. All right, you guys just went through DNA diagnostics. So they have his genetic material.
So you knew he wasn't the father. You knew that. But you still had this man possibly out here paying child support. Honestly, with that type of nonsense, knowing that the man, it'd be one thing, well, I didn't know. But knowing that man, you should pay all of that back.
What they need is Thomas Chandler's diagnostic material.
Yes.
I'm going to grant the DNA order because it seems like you two are in agreement that he is not the father.
Yes.
And that you would prefer to have the child be listed for his real father on the birth certificate.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Because normally what I'm jumping through a couple of hoops with is that a judge denied this in 2018 because no DNA was given to them. I need new DNA testing that shows that he is not. Because I want to work out something, because if we're tying his hands and this man can't work, that's not helping the kids at all. They're getting no money. I can order $1,500 to $3,000 a month. But if there's no employer, all we're doing is spiraling him into debt that he can never pay, and that will keep round robining without him getting a driver's license that's usable.
Right.
So I need a cohesive and just comprehensive motion on this and a hearing on this. But I need Ms. Johnson and Mr. Chandler to cooperate and get the DNA of young Junior.
I can do
Ms.
that.
Johnson, so that you understand, any affidavit of parentage signed by Duran is worthless.
Null and void. Yeah.
Yeah, it's null and void because you got to have him born out of wedlock or not have him have another legal parent.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is trigger a very little used clause in this, and that is sometimes time, even though we can only are supposed to do this within the child's 3 years of birth. My problem is we've got a child out there that you guys knew, and this entire thing, no offense, Ms. Johnson, was based on a lie, that Mr. Chandler was the father. had jurisdiction at the time. We ordered it, but let's undo a wrong instead and try and get it right.
Yeah.
But I need the DNA to actually show that for the file.
Okay.
And then we can do a calculation based more cohesively on what he can actually earn with the front of the court. And maybe I can get the front of the court and get an order that says he keeps his license.
Okay.
And we will not touch it for a year, regardless of how much is owed.
Okay, that's fine. Yep.
And that way I can also find out from them, because it's not part of the court file, how much arrearage there is.
I don't even know why the other judge did that. It's like they don't, sometimes they don't be thinking about the consequences and the chain reaction
That we're going after. All right. So let's see if we can do this and make it possible to get these kids the money they deserve and the fathers they deserve.
Okay.
All righty. So I'll grant a hearing, Mr. Hahn. I'll invite you, and I'll invite Miss Lipford as well. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I heard that in between between the lines. I get it. No. Again, we're just. I know. I'm kidding. Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
Your Honor, can you please clarify as to how we're doing the
Sure.
genetic testing in this matter?
I'm asking them. They did it through DNA diagnostic. They are going to have to get the genetic testing.
Okay.
Okay.
If you don't, I'm going to have to deny any change.
Okay, I'll get it.
So
That's fine.
I'll give you a couple months to do this. I'm reserving the child support for this case, so that we get it right, and we'll do it from the beginning. So if it's
So
two
I
children,
just,
it's two. If it's three, it's three.
So I get it, and then I just bring it to FOC, or do I bring it
No,
to the
file
court?
it with the court.
Okay.
File it with the court. Send Mr. Hahn a copy as well.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you soon. I'll get you the notice.
I honestly think whenever the women or the courts do this, knowing full well that the man is not the father, they need to start paying that stuff back. Honestly, they need to start paying that stuff back. There has to be some sort of accountability. You're taking money from that man and giving it to a child that does not belong to him. Y'all need to start suffering some consequences.
If you get a woman pregnant in the state of Texas, you will have to pay child support from the moment that that child is conceived. Texas passed a new law that goes into effect in the fall of 2025, right? That states that child support begins at conception.
It really blows my mind that deadbeat baby parents think that they are so entitled when it comes to providing very minimal and basic costs towards raising the child they helped create. It's like they all follow the same rule book. They think that paying child support, measly amount of child support or child maintenance, entitles them to time with their child. They believe that that money is paying for their time with their child. No, sunshine. No, little sunshine. That tiny little bit of money that probably won't even cover 1/1000th of what we actually spend raising the child we created together is to help cover their very most basic needs. I mean, in my case, it's $33 a week. That doesn't even buy a packet of nappies. Come on now. Yet you somehow think that paying that money entitles your presence in their life or a specific amount of presence in their life? No, that's not how that works. No. Child support and time spent with child are two completely different things. And the courts decide how long you get to spend with that child based on the child's best needs. And if you can't make a good enough case for yourself, that says it all, sunshine. Additionally, does anybody else get these kinds of emails and text messages addressed to their child? The child. Dear child, in my case, Daddy loves you so much, and I'm putting away money for you for when we see each other again, for when I'm allowed to see you. And for those people that say they love you, they really don't. Daddy loves you. Oh, but I'm putting away money for when I get to see you, and I'm going to give it to you directly. I'm just going to give you the money. Okay, child. Good luck with growing up not in destitute poverty. Okay, love you though. Okay. Does anybody else get those? By the way, those kinds of emails and messages that I get are in direct violation of a no contact police protection order. Appreciate it though. That was great and great work. I'm breaking the law again. And for all the people that are going to drop in the comments that you bred with a deadbeat, these are the consequences. Yeah, you're just outing yourself as a kind of person that's like, well, you were wearing a short skirt, so you deserve to get raped. So, I really don't give a flying bat what you have to say. Okay, thanks for the chat. Thank you, bye.
You know, it's always funny how modern women can figure out what the law is when it's on their side. But when it comes to the law telling them certain things to do, then all of a sudden they're confused, and that's when they start breaking the law. Restraining order? Now, I'm not going to follow that. You got a visitation order in place where I can't do certain things or say certain things. I'm going to send the email myself. I'm going to send a text message. I'm actually going to run up to the school and take the child out of school knowing it's not my week, knowing it's not my weekend. I'm going to do anything and everything. The court tells me to go to classes. I'm not going because I don't follow the law.
Why didn't I buy my daughter gifts with the money that I get from child support for her? And the answer is simply this. That child support money is not for my kids, it's for myself. That money is simply made for me to use on myself and make sure that I have everything that I need. If I'm not happy, if I don't have what I need, I cannot be the best version of myself. So I splurge with the child support money. Plus, I had new toys laying around because my daughter, I'll buy her things and then she doesn't play with it, or like she forgets about them, and then like they're still brand new. So I don't see nothing wrong with me just wrapping them and giving to her again. I have never spent any child support money on any of my 7 kids, and I never will. I get child support for my grandchildren, and I don't waste it on them either. That money is for me only. So no, the child support did not go towards any of my daughter's gifts. Child support is not meant to be spent on the child. It's meant to be spent on the person who provides for them, who takes care of them. And that's me.
Father finds out that his child is not biologically his child, but he's been paying child support. Do you think that he should have a right to be able to sue the mother for the cost of all the child support that he's already paid? Because in most states, there's really not much action you can take if you found out that your child's not actually your child and you're on child support, really, other than just taking them off child support. Because there's really not a lot of recourse for fathers that find out that their child is not biologically their child. Like, obviously they can get taken off of child support in most cases, but there's no right to recover the child support already spent. And I said for the most part they could be taken off of child support because in some states, if you sign that birth certificate, you're their dad. It doesn't matter if you're not biologically their dad because you still took on responsibility for that child. Personally, I feel like if a mom knowingly, there's the key word, knowingly misled someone to think that they were the father and then put them on child support, that's wrong. Like if you knew that there's a chance that both Michael and Steven are the fathers, you should have told both Michael and Steven that they could have both been the fathers. And in my opinion, you should have gotten a DNA test when the baby was born. Because I think it's personally wrong to allow that child to build a relationship with one of those men, assuming that that's probably the father, not knowing for sure. And then 10 years down the line, you decide that now you want to know. And then you find out that you guessed wrong. This child spent their childhood bonding with the wrong person. And that person spent their life just supporting a child that's not theirs. Building an emotional connection to a child that's not theirs. Building a life for a child that is not theirs. Like, obviously, I knew who my daughter's father was because I was in a relationship with him. But if I didn't know, I would want to know immediately when she was born because I wouldn't want to have that question for the rest of her life. I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to do a DNA test. Because in my mind, it's going to come out eventually. And it's just wrong to let someone else take on that responsibility if you know that there's a strong chance or any chance at all that they don't need to take on that responsibility. I personally feel like if there's any chance that someone else is the father, you should do that test as soon as possible. Like as a mother, I don't understand not wanting to do the test as soon as possible because it's not fair to both the child and both fathers. Like the non-biological father, it's not fair that he has to support this child, build a relationship with this child, and then find out that it's not his and then have that child taken away from him. That's emotionally devastating. Having to support a child that's not yours is financially devastating. And then that child having to build a relationship with the father, finding out that that's not actually their father, and now the person that is their father, they don't know. And it's not fair to the biological father because then they miss all this time with the child. Like overall, it's just not fair to anyone involved. I just don't understand why people don't get a DNA test immediately. Especially nowadays when DNA tests are relatively cheap and very accessible. Like just for the emotional and the financial damages alone, that definitely would warrant a suit. But the way that the laws are written right now, it's kind of just tough luck. There's not really a road to recovery there. But in my opinion, if you're able to take away someone's license for not paying child support, which is fair, 100% fair, you should also be able to sue someone for taking advantage of the system and putting you on child support wrongfully when they knew that it was wrong. I just personally feel like unless they waive it and they say, hey, no, we were married, we know that dad's dad, we don't need to do this. I think for the most part, it should be standard that DNA tests are required before any child support judgments are made. Because there's so many cases where they don't require it. It's kind of just, if you guys need the evidence, we need the evidence, but it's not a requirement to establish child support. And then later they find out, oh, this man's been paying child support for 15 years and that's not his kid. And 15 years later, after you find out that, man, he's not the dad, yikes, there's really no recovery there. He's just out of 15 years of child support.
Exactly. At some point in time, these modern women need to be held accountable for lying, knowingly lying. The consequences are just escaping them for some reason.
Be careful about dating divorced men. No woman is divorcing a good man, especially when they have kids together. Yes, a lot of people grow apart and it's mutual, but the majority of the time she has divorced him for a reason. And whatever he has done to her, he's going to do to you.
Child support is for absent fathers, not failed relationships. And if you've seen some of my videos, people get all in their feelings about child support. And while people say that, yes, you are right. When I speak about child support, I'm not saying a woman should go file child support if a man is sitting there taking care of his kids, handling his responsibilities. If she's just trying to get more money from him because she's not working, she doesn't want to do rent, that is wrong. But if a man is not doing what he needs to do for his children, physically, financially, all of that, then yes, a woman should go for child support. It is not a woman's job to take care of a kid by herself. I don't care if y'all want to play the oh, you picked to have kids with the wrong person. It does not matter what a woman did. That man is just as obligated to those children as her. So if a woman is doing it out of spite or because the relationship failed, then yes, that is wrong if the man is doing what he needs to. But a lot of times, men don't handle their financial responsibility, nor do they have the kids 50% of the time. So a woman should go and get the help that she needs for those children. That is their obligation, just like she's obligated to take care of them.
Yeah, but some of these ladies out here, they don't like to admit it, but they're very spiteful. So it's not, well, I need the help and you're not helping me. It's, well, I'm trying to get back at you. If you were in a marriage with the person, then I'm trying to get back at you double because I'm trying to take everything that you have and then I'm trying to make you pay up as much as I can get you to pay. And I really honestly and truly don't need the money. I'm just trying to make you suffer. Women are not, these modern women are not the good people that y'all be describing them to be.
Proposed law in Tennessee will protect men against paternity fraud, requiring a DNA test before signing and validating a child's birth certificate and gaining any parental rights. The state's child support office is not a fan of the proposed law. Of course they're not. They just want to fill somebody in so they can pay the child support. And some of the times the man is not even a damn dad. They need to implement this in every state across America, all across the world. You feel me? You know how many dads are paying child support or sign the birth certificate and they not even the dad. When the child come out of the womb, a DNA test should be presented right then and there. It's mandatory. I don't care what nobody say. A lot of women are walking around here getting all that money in child support. And that's not even the dad at all. Because no DNA test was presented after the child's birth. How y'all feel about this? I'm glad they doing that in Tennessee. They should do it all across the world. Alright? And if a female don't like this, don't want to do this, then they hiding something.
Should DNA tests be automatically performed when babies are born? Now, there's a battery of tests that are automatically done at birth. Now, I understand that some people might consider this invasive or intrusive. And if they make it optional, it might cause friction if the husband says he wants a DNA test and the wife is looking at him like, what are you trying to say? But I think making DNA tests mandatory at birth will prevent a lot of the problems that happen later. It's a lot of things that is seen in family court during divorces or when there's a medical emergency and then they find out that the child is not, the husband or the boyfriend's biological child. So as opposed to just relying on either the presumed father or the alleged father who signs the birth certificate, why not just automatically DNA test children at birth? Now, I know that this will also maybe deter women from any kind of shenanigans. And if they know that they've engaged in any kind of shenanigans, I guess people will start confessing prior to going into labor and delivery. Anyways, it's just food for thought.
And honestly, I really don't have a problem with it. Stop it up front. For these women that know they're lying, go ahead and stop it right then and there. And what does it really say about a woman that has this type of stuff going on? You mean to tell me that your irresponsibility, allowing multiple men to just dump inside you, you're allowing that? You're letting that happen? That's crazy.
Not anti-women, but I am definitely anti-injustice. Like you said, a paternity test, it may hurt. It may be like, ooh, you feel like you don't trust me. But the legal ramifications of taking care of a child that you thought was yours, I don't like when anybody is deceived and played on and tricked into doing something or tricked out of something. And I've seen it too many times. One on TV, Maury, the paternity court, but also in real life of women who will carry on a lie for 10, 15, 30 years, all the while knowing that that was not that man's child. Now, if a man wants to raise another woman's child, by all means, that's something that he agrees to. He knows what he's getting into. But to love a child, attach yourself to a child, provide for a child that you believe is yours and really is not, I feel like that's like a stab to the heart. Like, that's gut-wrenching. At least allow him to take care of that child knowing that it's not his child. That's his choice. But when you take somebody's choice away and now they legally have to take care of this child because they were deceived into it, that's wrong.
What a way to find out.
That is a terrible way to find out.
Can you then walk away from a child that's critically ill? You know, I suppose the instinct would be, I've not been through a case like yours and many others. I think my first instinct would be to just get as far away from him as possible. But then if you love the child and you've always believed it to be yours and suddenly you know it's not, that's got to be pretty...
I agree. There's two options, and when this happens, you can walk away. And do you know what? If a man decides, who finds out that a child isn't theirs through paternity fraud, and decides to walk away, I 100% support that decision. I do. To me, it's up to the man now.
Well, yeah, for once, yeah.
If he wants to, and I get that, and I've had cases on the helpline where they found out and they said, "I've just got to walk away," and I said, "Do you do what you think's best for you now? It's about you."
Yeah.
And if you think that's the best for you, you're getting no judgment from me because that's your decision. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
And there's the other men like me that wanted the child, and I wanted the child and I wanted to keep him, and I was blocked. And there is some that I do know of some cases where the mother's revealed that it was a paternity fraud, and then he's carried on being the father, and it's worked out well.
Yeah, for the child mainly.
For the child, yeah. And you know, the one I'm thinking of is he found out when the child was 8, she just blurted it out.
Yeah.
And this one I'm thinking of, he said, "No, I love this child. I'm on the birth certificate." And again, this is so much depends on what the mother wants. And the mother went with it. Said, "Yeah, go on, then we'll carry it on. You can be the child now knows."
Yeah.
That this is his adopted father, if you like. But I don't blame any man if they ever decide to walk away.
No, I don't, to be honest.
I don't blame
I also
any.
wouldn't judge them if they decided to stay in.
Exactly.
In fact,
in Tennessee, fathers can sign the birth certificate or complete a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity, VAOP, if they believe they are the biological father. However, this decision is time sensitive. Fathers have 60 days to request their name be removed from the birth certificate at no cost if they are later found not to be the biological father. After this period, Reversing it becomes costly and complicated, often requiring legal action. DNA Paternity Solutions recommends getting a paternity test within 30 days of the child's birth. This allows time to review results and make necessary changes before the 60-day deadline. Acting early prevents future legal and emotional complications and ensures informed decisions. Missing the 60-day window makes the VAOP legally binding, requiring court intervention to challenge it. Avoid unnecessary expenses and stress by prioritizing a paternity test. If you're uncertain about your biological relationship to a child, contact DNA Paternity Solutions today to schedule a confidential test. Don't delay. Take action within the first 30 days.
How can a man walk away from a child that he has been raising for 3, 5, 10, 15 years simply because the DNA test shows that he's not the biological father? Hear me out here. I'm not being insensitive. I know that his world has just been turned upside down. I know he feels betrayed. He's devastated. I empathize. I sympathize with his predicament. However, how is one able to walk away from a child that one has bonded with, loved, nurtured, poured blood and sweat into, simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father? I understand getting rid of the wife or the girlfriend. The word I actually want to use starts with a W and rhymes with sure. Get rid of the W. But the children or the child, the innocent child, it is flummoxing to me. Now, I'm not a man and I do not know how this impacts men. I also know that there's deep shame. But were I in that predicament, of course I would be devastated. I'd be hurt and betrayed. But then I'd let the children know or the child know. You may not be my biological child, but you're still my child. I love you. You're my child in my heart. I've bonded with you. I've raised you. So nothing changes. Now, I know a lot of men worry about, oh, then I have to continue paying I have to pay child support now that we're not together. So what? I'd pay the child support. Because you know what? Even though everything has changed, nothing should have changed because it's still the child that I raised, bonded with, and loved. And in an attempt not to pay child support, one ends up cutting off one's nose to spite one's face. Because you got to look at the big picture, the relationship with that child, the continued relationship, and the ability to go ahead and raise and nurture that child because you already have that bonded relationship. But once again, because I'm not a man, I do not understand how anybody can walk away from a child. Story time. My husband had a boss about 20 years ago. This gentleman's son had some medical issues. And to make a long story short, he found out that his 19-year-old son was not his biological child. Needless to say, he was devastated. But you know what? He had raised this child for 19 years, was paying for college. This was his son, and he was not going to let him go. And my heart broke for him, but I was so proud of this man because he did not walk away from his child. And I think at times some men might think walking away from the child is a way to punish the woman for her betrayal. But at the end of the day, the person you're hurting is the child. And I can't help but wonder, won't you be traumatized as a person walking away from someone that you've bonded with, that you've loved? For the man, isn't that traumatic? I mean, I really do not understand. I just cannot relate. And once again, I'm not a man. I'm sensitive to the hurt, to the pain, to the betrayal. But is it right to walk away from a child you've bonded with simply because the DNA test shows that you're not the biological father?
And this is what's funny to me. This guilt tripping sort of thing where men are supposed to feel, I know she's probably not trying to do it, but this is manipulation of a man's feeling. Well, how would you've already raised a kid. Why would you walk away? So basically, I'm not allowed to feel anything. I'm not allowed to feel like, man, I've been betrayed for so. Well, what about the child? Think about their children. But if a man were to say, when a woman wants to get divorced, Think about the kids. Let's stay together for the family. F them kids. I need to go find myself. I'm divorcing at a clip of 70 to 90%. I'm going to go ahead and file it. Oh, if you thinking that you should stay for the kids, girl, I did it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But now you're talking, well, you already raised the kid. You already had a bond with the kid. How come y'all don't tell women that? You've already raised the children that are yours. Why are you walking away from this relationship? Stay in it for the kids. Why would you walk away? You don't think you're going to hurt the kids? Oh, they'll understand. They'll understand. But this is what happens when they try to pass off blame to the man. They do this all the time. The buck stops with the man. And so they're going to push it off onto the man. They're going to make him feel guilty. Even though he's feeling betrayed, even though people have been lying to him for 18 years, sometimes longer than that. Even though they've been lying to, well, you've already built something. Well, just keep it going. Just suppress your feelings again and just keep it going. That's what they keep doing.
Welcome back to this journey of paternity fraud that we are currently going through. It's been a hot minute since I posted. Life's been a little chaotic and crazy, but I'm sure that's the same for everyone. It just seems like we're really busy, regardless of if we have kids, if we don't have kids, pets, outside of work duties. It's just a crazy time, and summer's here, so there's more work to be done outside. I believe we left off with Carnell Smith. He helped write a bill, and that he utilized to help him win his case where he was not the father. So the case I'd like to talk about today is out of Tennessee, Hodge versus Craig. And this case is from 2012, where Hodge intentionally misrepresented who the father was or the possibility. She informed her then boyfriend that she was pregnant and he was the father, and they eventually got married but later divorced. What she failed to disclose was she had had intimate relations with another person who did turn out to be the father of the child. And so the courts found that she intentionally withheld that information, therefore committing paternity fraud. And the courts used, I think it's common law, for this case, where it's based more on judicial and not statutes. For this case, I know it's different everywhere, and it's not the same, though the paternity law is the same across the board, more or less. The legal father is the one that is on the birth certificate, even if he unknowingly signs the birth certificate thinking the child's his when it is not. And I feel that needs to change. It's too easy to tell somebody you're pregnant with their baby. They're going to believe you. And then you have this mess. And let me clarify again, when we talk about this mess, or a father could have had a different direction in life, those are the facts, but they're not how I can speak for us. It's not how we feel. We don't feel, my husband doesn't feel, that he was robbed and of a direction of life. And then, that's not speaking to me, and it's not speaking to our daughter. It is speaking to the fact of what happened so long ago. So I just want to clarify that. I don't want anybody to think like, there's any kind of hate or resentment towards the daughter, our daughter, or anything like that. It's just the facts, and that is a conversation we've had. I know my husband and I have a lot, and I have had it with our daughter, that you have to be able to express your feelings about how you feel about this situation and what has happened. And it's certainly okay to have those feelings. It doesn't mean that what you feel has anything to do with those involved, like myself, like her father. So, or vice versa, my husband, like I said, not me and not our daughter. It's just, you have to be able, it's like we're on two different tracks. You have to be able to speak to, the fraud incident that you're going through and be honest about those feelings. But then you have the other track you're on where you're building, and mending fences and creating, a life after. So a life after the paternity fraud. So I just want to clarify that. I can say that, as I'm sure most of you have probably guessed, there's not many attorneys that will take this on due to the law. The law is, it says it's for the benefit of the child, but what we're going through, it is not for the benefit of the child. And so it's very hard to beat that. However, I have had conversations with an attorney, and going down the fraud path, you have 6 years. Once a fraud is discovered, you have 6 years. So our 6 years starts this year, because we found out this year. So you have 6 years. So my hope is to, find someone. I would love to be able to change this law. Something needs to happen for the benefit of the children. I would not want any child to go through what our daughter's been through. I would not. It is emotionally damaging. It is mentally damaging. And it just turns someone's world upside down. And all of those things could be prevented. So I will keep everyone updated and share as I go along. I know some have reached out, and there are many people, unfortunately, fighting this battle. There's a guy who's a biological father in a different state. He has tried to get custody of his child, but the mother, when she found out she was pregnant, told him it wasn't his, married somebody else. That guy's name's on the birth certificate. DNA shows he's the father, and he cannot get rights. I mean, that is insane. I am blown away that we are in the age 2025 that this is an issue. It is so, I don't know, ancient, and it needs to be addressed. And it would be a major overhaul. I know it's major. It would it'd be a domino effect all the way down the line. So I know it's major, but I believe children are worth it. And I believe what I have watched, no child deserves that. Our daughter didn't ask for this, but she had no say. So, I feel very passionate about pursuing this, and hopeful that we will come out on the other side a winner for all, not just for us, but for anyone that has dealt with this. So more to come. And I will see you next.
It's funny because these laws seem to continue to let women off the hook even after we find that they intentionally did something. They're out here intentionally lying and still being let off the hook. Whereas a man, if he does something, he's got to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of a law. Thinking about a young lady named Mackenzie Shrilla, I think it is, something like that. Essentially what happened is she got upset with him because he decided, no, we're not going to continue to do this. I'm breaking up with you. You're not good for my life. And she decided after, by the way, the courts had shown the documents, the GPS had tracked her phone and shown she went to a certain area to do a test run, came back maybe a few nights later, ran him, his friend, and herself into a brick wall, crashed it. The young men passed away. Somehow she survived, don't know. But essentially, oh, maybe it was an accident. It wasn't. Like I said, the GPS told you this is where she was a few days before. So that was a test run to let you know that this is premeditated. But somehow she ended up getting 15 years to life. So after 15 years, she's eligible for parole after taking 2 lives. The courts, for some reason, are not holding these women accountable for intentionally lying.